Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel. I'm a home educating mum of 4. So this video is kind of a meals of the week, but it's not of the week because I've been a bit slack. So this is meals of when I have remembered to record. So yeah, I've just included some that I've taken footage of. There's some soups, there's a lasagna and burgers. So I think there's 5 or 6 dinners, so it's nearly a week. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy it and I hope it gives you some ideas. It's definitely soup season, so we are loving a soup at the moment. And I always make it from scratch because it's such an easy thing to do. I also make my bread, and I've put a bread video already on the channel. So you can go and see that and see how I make the bread in my bread maker. It's so easy. I just don't buy bread anymore because I just don't see the point, basically. There's no need if you've got a bread maker, and you can have fresh bread every day, and your house always smells of fresh bread, so it's lovely. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy my video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And tonight's dinner is homemade lasagna. That's just waiting to go in the oven at the moment. I've just made homemade chips, and they're in the oven currently cooking. And when it reaches, got about 20 minutes, and then put the lasagna in the oven. I cook it using the same recipe as I use for my bolognese, and then just layer it up with some white sauce and cheese in the lasagna sheets. Put it in for 35 minutes at 180, and it comes out fantastic. So yeah, this is it waiting to go in the oven, and I'll film it when it's all nice and cooked and hot and bubbly. This is it out the oven. I just started cutting and realised I hadn't filmed it. So this is it out the oven, and the chips. So I'll serve up a portion and show you that.
Why not?
Okay, so tonight's dinner is beef and chorizo stew. So here is my beef. I don't think I'll fit all of that in the crock pot, but we shall see. I need mushrooms, 2 onions, 2 carrots, chorizo, and then smoked paprika, sage, Worcester sauce, or as my daughter and I like to call it, wash your sister sauce, because we find that highly amusing. And then stock. I've got a stock waiting. I need 2 of these. I think it's 750 mils in total of stock. And then I need, oh, I left my tomato puree in the fridge. 1 second. And tomato puree. So what I'll do to start with, while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, is I'll just bung my onion in. And my carrot. And I'll bung in most of my mushrooms, but I don't know, I might end up putting some in the fridge because I think I might have a few too many. I think I got a bit carried away. And then I've got frozen garlic because I can't stand cutting garlic. It makes my fingers stink, and I have autism and it's really pervasive, and that's all I can smell, so I use frozen. So then I want a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I've got a ½ teaspoon one out, so I'll just do 2 of those. And then sage. I've just bought a new one because I'd run out. Teaspoon of that, so I'll just put in 2 of those. And then a tablespoon of wash your sister sauce. Oh my god, I love that. Wash your sister sauce. It's going to tickle me forever, that is. And then a tablespoon of, I don't normally measure my, but there's so many different flavours in this, I do like it to be fairly as per the recipe. So this is beef stock. break down as and when. And then let's do another one. I'll probably put in a full litre because there's a lot of stuff in here. So, and I know it will make its own water because slow cooker recipes normally make their own water. But okay, let's put a few more of those in. And then chorizo. You could buy one of the chorizo sausages and cut it up, but I like the easy option of it being like this, which to me just makes far more sense. The recipe calls for 200 grams of this, but I normally put in an extra pack because everyone loves the chorizo, so it just makes sense to put more in if they love it, and it doesn't overpower it either because I always put in an extra one. So they're 120 grams per pack. My hands are so slippery I can't open it. This is one of our favourite dinners. I'll serve this up with mash or homemade chips, whatever everyone decides they want. So just bear with me while I chuck all this in. I've got another pack, but I'll put that in a minute. I'll put some, there's my son laughing at me as I make another video. Teenagers, eh? Okay. Right, and I'll put some more of those in a minute. Let's get some beef in first. I haven't got a very big crock pot, so what was that? We're under a storm warning here. So, oh, that feels so gross. Oh my god. Wait a minute, be thankful you're not touching this. Oh my god, my poor hands, that feels so disgusting. It's official, I could never be a butcher. I might freeze that last bit. I don't know how much was in here. Let's put it all in. I don't like it. Honestly, I promise you that the dish is worth the agony of having to touch raw meat. Although if you're not autistic and don't find this yucky, then you probably won't have a problem with it. So, and the good thing is this is lovely cold the next day as well. We often eat this cold. So I'm just going to bring in an extra one of these and I'll try and fit those mushrooms in. There we go. That's beef and chorizo stew. It's really nice, really tasty. Firm favourite in this house. And obviously it all shrinks down as it cooks. So as it cooks, room will be created in the top of the slow cooker as the mushrooms break down and stuff. So it's always the worst bit doing the chorizo. Well, actually, no, the worst bit's the beef. Sorry, my daughter's filming, so I'm talking to her as I'm doing it, and she's just helped me do all the food shopping. So There we go. Right, is that everything in? Beef chorizo, paprika, onions, garlic, carrots, mushrooms, stock, tomato puree, Worcestershire sauce, and sage. So I'm just going to put these on top. And then I'll come and mix them in a bit later when everything's broken down, and I'll film that when I do so you can see kind of like the process. But there we go. And it fits. It fits. There we go. So that's tonight's dinner. That's beef and chorizo stew. I'll show you it when I come and mix it a bit later, and then I will and then I'll show you when I dish it up so you can see what the finished product looks like. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching. And this is the stew all ready to go. It's lovely. Just tried it. It's so nice. I've got some homemade chips in the oven, so go with it. But yeah, it's lovely. It's such a nice stew. So, big fluff there. So I will, by fluff I meant the steam going towards the camera. So when I dish up onto plates, I'll show you the finished product. I have a child over my shoulder who's making me laugh. I do apologise. And this is the finished product. So it's really tasty. I thoroughly recommend it. I'll put a list of the ingredients on the screen as I make it. But it really is tasty and lovely. So yeah, lovely. Okay, so tonight, excuse the tumble in the background, tonight I am making sweet potato soup. I always make my soups from scratch. I just think it's such an easy thing to make, and it's so quick, there's no point buying it because it works out more expensive to buy it in tins for everybody than to just chop up some veg and mix it up. So in here I've got some carrots, some sweet potato, some garlic, and some ginger, and an onion, and that's all like been fried off in some oil. Next I'm going to add the stock. So I normally the recipes call for about 1.2 litres of stock, but I always put in about a litre and a half. We're a big family, so it just makes sense to put in more than they say. So that was half a litre. I'm just going to do 2 more of those, so bear with me. Okay, so that's with the stock added. I'll now let this cook down for about 20 minutes. If it was, so about 2 days ago I did potato and leek soup, and I meant to record it and I forgot. And I normally leave that to cook in the stock pot for about half an hour. But sweet potato cooks a lot quicker than that. So I'll just whack the lid on, turn the temperature up, and that should be ready to blitz up in about 20 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll stick the lid on now. This stock pot is from IKEA. It's absolutely brilliant, and it wasn't that expensive either. The stainless saucepans are also brilliant. So yeah, so I'll just turn this up before I forget. I'll leave that now to cook the sweet potato and the carrots, and then I'll give it a good blitz and I'll show you what it looks like. I'll also season it at that point so I can taste it as I season it. It's got some chili flakes in there already. It's got chili flakes, garlic, ginger, carrots, onion and sweet potato. And then in a minute, when I blitz it up, I'll add some salt and pepper, and yeah, it should be good to go. So the next thing you'll see is the soup looking a bit more like soup. So there we go, this is the soup all blended up. It tastes amazing. I've added salt and pepper, and it's absolutely delicious. So yeah, it's a really simple, easy, as all soups are, simple, easy, healthy recipe. I don't add any cream or anything like that because I just don't think it needs it. Yeah, so that's what I have made to feed my troops for tonight. I'll put all the ingredients on in the description box or on the screen, and I'll also add the ones I do when I make a potato and leek soup as well. Okay, thanks ever so much for watching. Okay, so for tonight's dinner, I am making a broccoli and cheese soup. So in here, I've got 1.5 leeks. I was going to put in 2 leeks. The recipe calls for one normal sized one, but I had 2 in the fridge, and when I cut up the second, I'll use them both up. And when I cut up the second one, one half was perfect, and one half was vile, like mud, and it was like bitty layers, and there was no way to clean it out properly. So I threw the layer that the side that I couldn't use. So I've got 1.5 leeks in here. I've then got frozen garlic, broccoli, an onion, and I need to add a potato. And then I've got some stock to go in, and salt and pepper. So what I'll do, and some cheese because it's cheese and broccoli. So what I'll do is I'll prepare the other ingredients and show you as I put it in. And then I'll show you after I've when it's cooked, and then when I blitz it up. So I'll just do the next stage of putting in the onion and the garlic, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so now I've added some potato and the broccoli. So in the pan currently is leek, onion, garlic, broccoli, and potatoes. I'll let all of that just cook off for a few minutes so everything's a bit more softened, and then I'll add in stock and salt and pepper. And then once the stock's in and the salt and pepper, I'll leave that to simmer for about 30 minutes, at which point I'll add the cheese, and then we'll be near enough ready to blend. So I'll come back to you when I've done that bit. Okay, so this is what it looks like before I blend it. If I give it a mix, you can see the broccoli, you can see the potatoes. I've added cheese and milk. So I'll blend it up and then see if it needs any more seasoning, and then we're ready to eat. I've got my homemade bread to go with that as well. So I'll just give it a blend and then I'll show you what it looks like finished. Okay, and that's the finished product. That is the broccoli and cheese soup, and I'm just slicing up the homemade bread to go with it. It is absolutely delicious. I will put the recipe in the description box because that's so good. Yeah, so that's what we're having for our tea tonight. Okay, so for tonight's dinner, I'm doing potato and leek soup. I have peeled and chopped my potatoes, and I've got those just warming up in stock pot, like that. I've then halved, washed and chopped my leeks, which are here. That's 2 large leeks. I cut them in half, and then I wash every layer to make sure there's no mud on them, and then I chop them into slices like this because they're going to be blended later, so it doesn't really matter how they're chopped. I've got 2 smaller sized onions here. It's supposed to be 1 large, but I didn't have a large one, so I've got 2 smaller sized ones here. Again, just roughly chopped up, ready to go in to soften up in the soup and then be blitzed later. That's the first part of my stock. That's just 500 mils there. I've got another 3 ready to go over there. And then I'll just add some salt and pepper. And then later on, I will, once I've blitzed it up, if I pop to the shops and get some cream, I'll make it a cream of potato and leek soup. But if not, it will just be potato and leek soup. So I'm just going to add all my ingredients now, and then I'll show you what it looks like as it's getting ready to cook down. So bear with me. So this is everything in the pot. Leeks, onions, potatoes, salt, pepper, and 2 litres of stock. I've decided to make a bigger soup tonight because last time it didn't stretch as far as I wanted it to. I wanted to be able to have leftovers, but it all got eaten in one sitting, which, you know, it's good, but, you know, if you want leftovers. So, yeah, so that's the soup so far. I'll now let it sort of like cook down in the stock pot for about half an hour. And then I'll come back in, take it off the heat, give it a good blend, and then I'll just put the heat down to 1 and just keep it ticking over till tea time. And I'll re-season it then. I've put some seasoning in, but I'll re-season it closer to when we're going to eat it. And then the fresh bread will be ready. It's ready. It's in my bread maker. My bread maker has 1.5 hours to go, so that should tie in quite well. Yeah, nice, easy, healthy dinner cooked from scratch. That's how I ideally like to cook, but sometimes, you know, clubs and commitments, I don't get the time. So yeah, I'll come back to you when I blitz it up and show you what it looks like all done. Okay. And here it is all blended up and ready to be eaten. So I'm just going to leave that now on the stove. It will thicken up a little bit more and it will be ready to eat as soon as the bread is ready and my husband's back from work. So yeah, smells delicious, and I will add some seasoning at that point as well when I go to dishing it up. So yeah, that's our potato and leek soup. Excuse the tumble dryer in the back, but these are the chicken burgers. We've got the burger, we've then got burger cheese, we've got tomato, onion, normally we'd have gherkin but I didn't have any left, mayonnaise, then the burger, then barbecue, and then lettuce. Very tasty. Yeah, that's what we're having for our tea tonight.